Welcome to Music in Progress, your window into the art of composing music. I'm your host, Michael Cook, a Bay Area composer and multi-instrumentalist. We'll delve into the depths of my creative processes that shape the music I make. Whether you're a fellow musician, an enthusiast, or simply curious about the magic behind the melodies, you'll find valuable insights, practical tips, and innovative techniques to inspire your own musical journey.
Finishing touches on the finale. August in the trenches. I spent most of August with my head down, putting the finishing touches on the finale of my Fourth Symphony. I went back through all my notes and comments, determined to smooth out every rough edge before handing the score to the orchestra. There were several sections I definitely didn't like, starting with the very beginning. I've never been happy with how it came out, so I reworked it to better match the ending and shifted it into the same octatonic scale. The result feels much improved, even if it's not exactly what I envisioned all those years ago when I first chose Beethoven's Eroica Finale as the model for this movement. Fixing problem spots. Measures 56 through 59 also gave me trouble. The harmonies didn't work, especially with the melody line built from the decaphonic scale I'd used in the first movement. In the end, I abandoned that strict connection and just wrote something that sounded better. It feels more natural now, and I'm much happier with it. Measures 77 through 84 were another sticking point. The harmonies with the repeat simply weren't working, and I needed a more convincing lead into the next variation. I solved it by removing the repeat and writing the passage straight through. That let me alter the B section the second time to better transition forward, and I also shortened the pause in the repeat of A to keep things fresh. That fixed a variation I had never been satisfied with. Polish and cleanup. Beyond those bigger changes, there were lots of smaller refinements. Adding more dynamics and percussion. Cleaning up fermatas so there won't be questions in rehearsal. Inserting cues in parts where players have long rests. Adjusting layout with rehearsal letters to make the score easier to navigate. All the small details that turn a draft into a performance-ready score. Listening again with fresh ears. Even after these changes, I was still uncertain about some flagged spots. A few passages I had originally marked for revision now felt fine as they were, so I left them unchanged. But was my earlier instinct right, or was my current instinct? I also worried about how the music shifted between three different harmonic languages. Would that feel cohesive or disjointed? With time running short, I reached out to other composers for feedback. My former teacher, Joseph Klein, gave me valuable insight. He reassured me that the shifts in harmonic style worked and even enjoyed the variety. He also spotted a few mistakes I had missed. But his biggest critique was that both the beginning and ending didn't quite land. They were close, but too short. Reworking the frame. So I dug in again, this time trusting my instincts rather than Beethoven's form. The new beginning came quickly. I simply wrote it the way I had imagined it 5 or 6 years ago when I first conceived the symphony. It felt natural, and once I had that opening in place, I connected it to the hits that set up one of the other harmonic languages. By the end of the day, I had added about 5 seconds of new material, and the beginning finally felt right. The ending was more difficult. I wanted to extend it slightly, but at first my attempts just made it too long and chaotic. At the end of Wednesday, I listened back and realized the proportions were off. The beginning of the section dragged, and the middle lacked flow. I was frustrated enough to set it aside for a day. When I came back on Friday, I leaned on instinct. I shortened the opening, fixed some harmonic issues, and swapped the extended middle sections, adjusting harmonies and accompaniment along the way. Suddenly, it clicked. The ending was longer, but the extension became a subtle tease rather than a blunt statement, an expectation breaker that gave the real ending more power. I sent it back to Joe, and he agreed. The changes worked. Relief. Preparing for performance. Now the real countdown begins. I need to have the score and parts fully ready for the orchestra by September 15th. It's close, though this first performance won't have the exact instrumentation I envisioned. A few quick adjustments will be necessary. Horn 2 will be covered by trombone, and some second parts in the winds will need to be reassigned since this orchestra is 1-2 apart. Nothing too drastic, but still work to finish. some good news. On another exciting note, I reached out to the American Beethoven Society. They had originally invited me to speak about this symphony at Beethoven's 250th birthday convention, an event canceled twice by COVID. They responded enthusiastically, asking me to write an article about the piece for their newsletter and offering to promote the October concert to their membership. It feels like a bit of luck and a wonderful way to share this symphony with a wider audience.